What's up, guys? Brian Grossman here with Grossman Woodworking and DIY with a long overdue shop update. A lot of you guys have been asking how the shop's coming along, so I'm finally taking a moment here to shoot a little update as well as a segment on why I've decided to pivot as far as the business side of things. And a lot of that is based on some feedback I got from you guys on my last video, but I'll get into that later in the video. For now, I'm gonna let you guys kind of take a look inside and see what you think. Depending on whether or not you've seen my previous videos, you're probably gonna have one of two reactions. You're either gonna say, wow, you've made a lot of progress, great job, or you're gonna say, man, that place is a dump. and either way, you be right, but I'm choosing to focus on the progress that's been made so far, as well as just my vision for what this thing can and will be. So I hope you'll go in with that in mind, and I hope you've already watched the first video that'll let you see just how much progress has been made here. So with that, I'm gonna flip the camera around and we'll go take a look inside. All right, so just like on the last video, I'm going ahead and shooting in widescreen just so you can get a good view of everything. Again, hopefully that's not too distracting. But the first thing you probably notice is that a lot of the trash that was all piled up out front here is finally gone. I did get a dumpster in here, although it was way too small. I got a 13-yard dumpster in here, or roll off, and filled that thing up in about 2 hours. And I still got a lot more stuff around back and off to the side here that needs to be hauled off. So I'm making progress, but still got a lot to go in that regards. Also, the last time I shot this, there was weeds, up over those windows and door. So I cleaned up a little bit around it where I can mow and weed eat and stuff and just kind of keep it up a little bit better. Still got to do something with the door and window here for now to keep the rain out. And I'm still going back and forth on what to do and how to lay that out. So I haven't done anything yet. And another thing you're going to notice is this is almost as junky as the last time you seen, because what happened was I'd started working in here on the last video, and I actually recently moved to the other half of the shop, which we'll look at here in a minute. And I did that because I got a lot more leaks and water issues in this side, specifically from the chimney up there. It just completely, when I get a hard rain, it completely floods this place out because of that chimney. And then there's a lot of other small holes as well. So this side's gotten junked back up a bit. It's got some projects over there that I finished up that just I haven't sold or haven't really tried to sell. I got my mower in here. A lot of my scrap wood or project wood is kind of leaned up against the wall there. This is all stuff mostly that I brought back from my dad's that I still haven't really gone through, as well as some of the stuff here on this table. And then just some boxes and ladders and stuff back there in the back. But yeah, this side's gotten a little bit of a mess again, but not as bad as it was in the first place. But then I moved everything over to this side because this side stays a lot drier. I really only got one problem point here, a big hole in the roof up here that I tarped, but I didn't do, I don't know if I can get back far enough. Anyway, I covered it up. I actually covered the hole up with a couple sheets of plywood and tarped over the plywood. But the tarp does not run all the way over the peak. And so rain is coming under the tarp and under those that plywood and still getting in the shop here. So I've bought a bigger tarp. It's actually back in the back, a 20 by 30, that'll let me go all the way over the peak of the roof. And that'll let me completely dry off almost this entire side of the shop, but definitely that big hole, which is pretty much the only major leak on this side. But as you can see, it's still kind of bare. I got my planer just sitting on this little table for now. My dad or granddad's joiner that I just got back up and running. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Granddad's belt sander, my dad's drill press, granddad's bandsaw. All three of those still need to be kind of restored and put back into use. That was a recent build there, the little cooler, patio cooler. Just some wood stacked up over there. I did clean up a bunch of the junk that was up top here. And also, if you watched the last video, this whole room right here was full of trash. Of course, I got all that out when I had the dumpster in here. I call that my product pew, because anything I get sent to do like a review on and stuff, I've just been sticking over there. I got this bookcase, or not bookcase, but this shelf unit here. It was in here when I bought the place, and it's in decent shape other than the bottom of it down here was all rotten, and I cut it off. I took my circular saw and cut the whole bottom part off, and so I'm gonna get a couple of treated 2x4s and make me a base for it and put that thing back into use, because I could definitely use some more storage. And then of course I got my main workstation here, which is my miter station. It kind of works as an outfeed table for my table saw, as well as my assembly table, kind of all in one. And I, as you can see, I did not clean this up to shoot this video. I've been messing around with one of my granddad's old saws here, cleaning it up. Granddad's hunting knife, cleaning that thing up, just piddling basically some hand planers that I found at my dad's. And so, yeah, definitely, obviously a whole lot cleaner than it was. The trash is gone. I kind of got a little bit of a workflow set up here, but it's definitely not where I want it to be. And let me flip this camera back around. So this gets into the whole reason for kind of pivoting the business. And what I mean by that is in my last kind of what I call like a business update video that I did for 3 months in, I talked about some of my frustrations and just not being able to get a lot accomplished, and always cleaning up and just, just not having a good workflow, a good schedule, just a lot of frustrations. And I won't get back into all of them. You can watch that video. But you guys gave me a ton of great advice, a lot of feedback on that. And basically one of the central themes was maybe back off of trying to build for clients for a while, because, I'm not relying on that money at this point. I have a full-time job that I enjoy, so I don't have to be building things for clients right this minute. And most of my money's coming from YouTube at this point anyway. But you guys said, hey, back off the builds and focus on getting your shop in order and getting things, your workflow set up. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop building stuff. Now, I'm still going to be building stuff for videos on here, but I'm going to focus heavily on building stuff for the shop, because one of my big frustrations right now is this all-in-one table. It seemed like a good idea when I built it, just not knowing you don't know what you don't know until you start using it. And turns out I don't like this at all. The miter, it works great for a miter station, which is what I use it for a lot. When it comes time for assembly, it's a bit of a pain in the butt. That miter saw is always in the way, especially if I'm trying to video. When I'm trying to video this stuff for YouTube, that miter saw is always in the way. And then using it as an outfeed table for my table saw, that's not as much of an issue. But one of the first things I want to do, well, actually, let me back up. The first thing I want to build is like a lumber cart to organize just the scrap wood, or not just scrap, but the wood that I'm keeping on hand for projects. I'm tired of that being in the floor, and it was occasionally getting rained on in there, so the ends were getting wet. It's just been a problem. So I want to build a lumber cart. I already got a plan in mind for that, to get the wood organized and up out of the floor. And then the second thing will be a much bigger project, is I want a full-fledged miter station along, well, I hadn't decided yet. It could be along the back wall, could be along the wall over here, but I want to build a full-fledged miter station with drawers and cabinets, T-track, the whole 9 yards, to just be able to do things right, and to be able to do that separate from my actual assembly table or outfeed table for the table saw. So that'll be the next build. It'll be some kind of assembly table, and I might use parts from this, but it'll be a whole new design. and it'll be a whole new design. And again, with it, I'll want some cabinets, drawers, because one thing I'm already finding is I'm keeping my tools and stuff scattered all the time because I don't have a good place to put them. Had to switch up, my arm was getting tired. but I've had but I have a recurring problem with my tools always staying, disorganized because I don't have a good storage system set up right now. Everything that I use for assembly should be somewhere here on the assembly table in drawers and cabinets. And then of course your miter station, anything that you're using in relationship to mitering, could be over there in that, as well as, that could keep a whole lot of other tools along that as well, because that's going to be a fairly big area. I'm thinking probably 12 feet or so for a miter station. And then I got to build some stuff. I got to build some cabinets for some of these other things. The planer definitely needs some type of cabinet, maybe a rolling type cabinet to keep that on. My buddy gave me the router table and router back here. That needs a stand or a table as well. I got a lathe from my dad's. That's actually in the other part of the shop there. It's just sitting on my workbench. But I need to build a table for that lathe because I'd like to start playing around with that as well. So that is going to be my focus. I'm not going to worry about building no planer boxes or squirrel feeders or anything like that for a while. I'm not going to say I won't have a build every once in a while because there's some stuff I'm really wanting to build. And I'll definitely video that for you guys, just things for myself or maybe for a friend, that kind of thing. But it's something that I want to build. But my focus for the most part is going to be on building stuff for the shop and getting it in order to where I actually have a decent workflow in here. And it's not a constant chaos and disorganization. So that's my pivot. I'm going to focus on things for the shop. I'm going to focus on builds for YouTube rather than repetitive builds for clients for now. Still don't want to completely get away from that idea. I would love to have clients paying me for, custom pieces in the future. But for now, the focus is going to be on the shop and not only getting stuff organized and together here in the shop, but also just fixing the issues with the shop, which is going to come in time. Again, it's just, unfortunately, the biggest issue is the roof, and that's also the biggest cost. We're talking probably $5,000 to get that roof fixed, and that's doing it myself. So that's a big chunk, but we're just going to tackle things as we can. I want to get this wall back here completely redone. Well, first of all, it needs to be completely rebuilt because it's the whole baseboard's rotted off. So I got to rebuild that wall, but then I'm going to use that tongue and groove flooring that I got the whole refrigerator trailer back there full of, clean it up, maybe stain it, definitely stain it, but I'm not sure if I'll stain it one color or like a pattern or whatever, but have a really nice accent wall back here where those old tools are setting up against, and also to hang a lot of the tools, the saws and different things that I have around the shop, just to honor my granddad and my dad, and as well as the guy who had, some of the stuff that was left in here. So that's the plan, guys. Again, just start building things for the shop here, videoing everything, of course. Keep on plugging away at getting this shop renovated, cleaned up, more trash hauled off. It's going to be a long and tedious process, but we'll get there, and I hope you'll stick around for the entire process. I guess with that, guys, hey, I'm always open to your comments and suggestions, your feedback. So please drop that below. Let me know what you think. I can handle it. So yeah, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, the little notification bell. And as always, guys, I will see you on the next video.